all right. It rains every 5 minutes, but I need to try to get some progress made on some stuff. And that stuff is going to be this sprayer. We're going to get started right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. This here sprayer, we need to get together because he's going to want to spray pasture very soon. And yeah, we just haven't been having much luck as far as weather is concerned. I just got done a little bit ago filming a plow bottom video, so I'm sure you've seen that by now because I'm trying to push it to the head of the line. But we need to start now. Yeah, right about the time I start filming, it's starting to rain again. It's unbelievable. So I guess I'm gonna soldier on as long as I feel like it. And then I got a lot of quit in me though, so probably won't go very long. Because it seems like it's not gonna go just a little bit. It's gonna go a lot of bits. It's starting to pour pretty hard. All right, let's try this again. Have to wait on the rain every few minutes, but that's fine. So I should have enough stuff to make this happen. I just gotta hunt it all together here in a fashion that I can deal with everything. And I probably should switch my screwdriver too. All right, so I've got these clamps that should fit on the tube, and the difference between the originals is they got this square hole that will lock into this no drip nozzle body. And I like these because I think this is the 5 psi cap. If you have less than 5 psi, it shuts off and it won't let fluid drip out all over you. That makes it nice if you're folding booms and stuff. And the other advantage is quarter turn caps to change the tips. Very simple to service. So we will see what we accomplish here. There should have been 6 of them on here. And perhaps I should start, maybe I should start over here where well no, I can't do that. The one I brought was, I'm making sense to myself, so don't worry. These better fit. I checked them in the store, and there's a thing about these when you go to buy them that's kind of unusual. Would you believe it started raining? The second I come outside, I left a good while to get it out of its system, and now it's starting in again. I'm going to start with it right here. Yeah, it's going to start raining hard enough that I don't really want to be soaked, so that really sucks. See, some of them have 1 outlet, some of them have 2, so the end one, you put the one with 1, and then you put with 2, and then also, this tubing, I believe is inch tubing, and if you want the clamp that fits tight, you need the one that is a 3/4 clamp. I have never figured that out, but if you get the one that's a 1-inch clamp, it won't ever tighten up on here, so it's bizarre why they couldn't just make it, if you have inch tubing, you need the inch clamp, but so far, I have not found that to be the case. I think it looks like this is where the next one is. We can always change them and do a final orientation later on. I just want to get them slapped on here so we can have some idea of what we're going to do. Because this is not really difficult, but I guess for some people it would be overwhelming to do because there's so much to do. trick is you want, if you have fan nozzles, you just want them to be able to overlap a good amount. Like so, not really overlap, but the ends touch, so you don't have any skips in your spray pattern. Now the nozzles we're going to use for this are not exactly, well, they're not fan nozzles. They're like a, almost run like a stream out. The stuff we're going to be using is not a, it's a fertilizer is basically what it is. I mean, it's going to be it's supposed to raise the pH of the ground by 1 percentage point every time you spray it. So Dad was going to try it. I got another friend who does hay, and he's a big believer in the liquid fertilizer and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that either. It's just a matter of making it happen. Was it about there? I think so. And what do I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I'm ready for the end one. And that worked out just great because that's the one I got left in the bag. See, it's only got one spout. Ooh. Now the sun's going to come out, which will make it super duper humid. We haven't had humid weather here for a long time yet. I mean, but the next few days it's supposed to really... Now, if all is right, I should be able to fold that up. Not interfere with anything. But you see, I now have pretty evenly spaced deals. This one gets 5, and then the outer wing gets 6 again. That's the pattern that was on here, and that's the pattern I'm going to keep. So I just got to get more stuff and make it happen. Then we'll start worrying about plumbing. I may go ahead and put the screens and the tips on just to have them out of my box of stuff. That box of stuff has been sitting in my kitchen for like months, and I'm sick of it, friends. Now I'm looking at it here, and I'm thinking you can kind of tell where the old ones were based on the way that the smoothness of the tube is. And I don't think that it was to the edge. I think there was one here, there was one here. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in this neighborhood here. I need to get those pipe stands out of here and try to get them remade. Never got that done yet. Tired of standing. See, if I put one there, I feel like that's where it was, but it just seems like that's too far. Well, that might be right. Optical illusions, friends. And I don't think we have to be super duper precise. I mean, pasture spraying, fertilizer, I don't think it's that big a deal. I guess it would be if you were doing this professionally for, you know, selling or whatever. But for ourselves, anything's better than what we had, which was doing nothing. You can kind of tell where stuff was. We want that kind of in the middle. And really, we should be centering our other ones off of that, I think. Does that look like it's in the middle? I question that. Let's try that. Alright, down the line we go. Now, let's take a break here and talk about, I did tell you about the no drip, but I didn't show you how it worked, and that's stupid of me. I could just take this off and show you. Basically, it's got a rubber spring-loaded flapper in there that it seals this off. And what has to happen is your fluid comes in. I don't know if you can see around, see how there's a center tube in there? The center tube is what goes to the tip. It goes all the way through to here. So the rest of the fluid is on the outside, and the spring holds this rubber cap across the top so that nothing will go into there until the pressure inside of the body reaches more than 5 psi. Then it overcomes this spring and it spills down into there and goes through the tip. Very scientific. Works great though. So, whoever came up with that idea, that was a winner. Because we never had that growing up, you know. I didn't even know that was a thing until later years. And somebody said, I can't believe you're still using that old style where you have to unthread it. But Grandpa was a creature of habit, you know. He wouldn't spend money to update anything for convenience sake. Although if he had known about these, he might have, I don't know. Just something we didn't know. He did like them. He did get to spray, I guess, with my other sprayer a few times after I first built it, so he got to enjoy the quarter turn life for a little bit. We're getting there, friends. We are getting there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one. We're coming along, friends. We're coming along. Somebody in the comments said this looks like a Cougar sprayer, and that's what it is. It says it somewhere. There's the tag. So, yep. Or Quaker, or whatever you want to say. I don't know, but that's what it is. One more boom, and then we can start running hoses. Oh, what fun that will be, friends. What fun. All right. Move along, thinking Stuart. Move along. Need that one for here. That's the other end one. Let's knock it all to the ground. That's fine. That's fine. Wanted to keep the bending over to the ground a minimum, but doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna work. I think we're gonna have something when we're done here. Maybe people in the comments will disagree, but this is a handier size sprayer than that other one I got, because you don't have to unfold booms 2 stages, you know. I never did like that, the way of that setup. You didn't run down as much stuff, but I just didn't like the way that it did the thing that it did. what did I do here? Well, that one about right. All right, I am in the process of putting the tips and screens in, just so that they're not laying around getting lost. And I guess I'll show you that. You can see two at once in there. But basically, you put a screen in, and then this type of tip is made. See, it's gonna do like a fan of spray backwards. And so you put this on, you quarter turn it, and then it's locked in. So it's very simple, see? And I guess what I should have done, and I didn't do a minute ago, looking at it, I really need to make sure that I put them all on the right way so that they fan the liquid the same direction. That would be pretty bizarre if you had half of them. Yeah, see, like there I could get it wrong. So I need to double check that going forward on all the ones and go back and check. I've never used this style tip before, so I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. Yeah. You just want them all the same way, you know. The other ones, like if you use the flat fans, they're gonna go in the right way no matter what. They're gonna, even if you're 180 off, the fan is still gonna be the right way. And they're clocked a little bit like this, not perfectly like this, so that when the edges do overlap, they don't make a stream where they hit. So they spray like this, and then you get a full coverage without that drop pattern that might happen. So somebody was thinking when they invented these, is what I'm saying. Working on a sprayer is just a lot of repetitive motion, because you've got so many things that have to be done the exact same way. So it's just one after another. So we just go down the line. We're gonna hope I got enough stuff. That day when I went in there, they didn't hardly have everything I needed, and I had to order some. And I went back later and got it. And I hope that we got all of our wires crossed correctly so that we didn't make a mistake. All right. We did end up with one extra tip, but that's good, because we may we may need one. I don't know. Now for the long, arduous task of plumbing hoses. So, usually when I do sprayers, I have like clear hoses, and this time they didn't have that, and they said, no, you got to use black hose. So, I don't know. Hopefully this stuff holds up. I like the others better because you could see things flowing, you know. But hose is hose, I guess, as long as the chemicals don't break it down. Some of that hose is not chemical resistant very good. Also, I think I got way too big of hose clamps, so that's great. And the end of this hose isn't cut very good. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about this. It's going to start raining anyway, so we're going to be done, but oh, what fun this will be. I think in this case, since I got so many to do, I'm going to go ahead and go get a socket to fit those hose clamps, especially since I have to tighten them down quite a bit, because their girth is too much. I think these were the smallest ones they had, though, at this place that I was at. So, yep, here comes the rain. How soaking wet do we want to get? That's always the answer to the question. Now for my next trick. On this one, this is where I'm going to put the T in to supply this run. I like to try to do it in the middle. I don't know if that really makes a difference or not, but it seems like if you had a fairly equal distance from two things, you would probably be in better shape than if you just, you know, supplied it from one end. So that's what I'm thinking. And then of course somebody puts tape over this to make it even more difficult to use. Trying to keep the price tags on. It's going to be quite the interesting setup. I am afraid though I didn't get one of those selector valves, and I'm kind of afraid I'm probably going to need one, because I don't know that the one that's on here is much count. I'm afraid I'm just afraid we're going to need a new one. Everything else is new, so why not have that too? Alright, that's done. Everything except for I didn't have enough hose to come from that wing up to this valve. And honestly, I'm wanting to replace this valve. I thought first maybe we'd just reuse it, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of rusty crusty. Right now it's into the back of the tractor pretty bad, so that ain't helping us. But it just feels like there, I don't know. We're going through all this effort. Why should we, you know what I'm saying? Why should we? Why should we cobble? So our next step, I didn't get enough things, I don't think, for what I wanted to do. Like there's the filter housing. That looks like garbage. I don't know that I want to reuse that, and I don't know that I want it in that location. I might be wrong on this, but I'm kind of thinking I'm going to get a different filter housing, and we're going to take it back here, and we're going to make it hook up to this bar here somehow, so that it's back where a guy can get to it, and it's not right up there in the, you know, like where you got other stuff taking place on the tractor. So what we'll have to do is I'm going to take all the fittings out of the bottom of the tank. This pump is stuck, but I got a kit to rebuild it, so we should be able to make that happen. But what I'm saying is, if we're going to have to go from the bottom of the tank to our filter, and then from our filter up to our pump, because you see that big hose curls around. It's actually broke off, but it did go into the pump. Let's get the, can I get the pump free? Let's see, let's go around. Take this off anyway to rebuild it. So it's just wired up here. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was. I mean, this is a name brand pump, so I think I'll be fine. It's a High Pro, and I was able to get a kit off the shelf for this number. And this is nothing, this being stuck. Grandpa and I had that all the time on our old sprayer. Sometimes it would stick over the winter, and you'd take it apart and clean it, put it back together, and it'd work again. But I went ahead and got a kit. But basically, I'm wondering now if that even, I'm wondering if this pump even was from this sprayer, or whether a guy just tied it to there later on. Because what's going to have to take place is, bottom of our tank, this is going to go, that line's going to go through a filter, then it's going to come from here into the pump to the inside, and then from the inside, or from the out of the pump, it's going to come up here to this line, which is broke off. And see, we don't have any end that would correspond to that, which makes me question if that pump really was the thing. But it's going to go out. It's going to go into our And this is where I'm not recalling this the way that I'm thinking. So it's going to go into here, which is going to select which set of booms it goes, but then off to the side of this is a pressure release valve, which you select to determine how much of like how much pressure goes to the boom. So essentially what this does is it loses pressure, which drops this pressure in this, and then it dumps the excess back in the tank. This guy drilled a hole and put it up through there, and I don't think that that has to be, I mean, I know why he did that. He did that for agitation reasons, to try to make the spray and stuff mix better. But I don't know if I like that for what we're doing. I would almost just, like on my other one, I had it teed in to that other line. This guy had another line teed in from here to the bottom of the tank. So basically what you could do is you could run the line, use this line, connect it to the bottom of the tank, and it would do the agitation thing from the bottom. It would just be blowing up through the center, and that would do the same thing. And then you wouldn't have to have this hole in your lid, and then you wouldn't have to fool with this hose every time, because I know that that's not going to be a happy time, you know. Oh, did not expect that. Lots of wasp nests that really need to be cleaned out of there. So yeah. So I'm gonna have to just get I got a new gauge, but I need to just go ahead and get this new valve, and then new valve, new pressure regulator, and then all the corresponding hoses as such. And so what I'm thinking of doing is just taking everything else off of here, so that I can take it with me in the back of the pickup, and then I'll know all the sizes right off the top of my head, and there won't be any guesswork. And you know what I'm saying, because I hate to make 50 trips to town when I don't have to do that thing. So if I take all the stuff loose out of the bottom of the tank, I'll have all those sizes, and then I can build whatever I want based on the stuff that I get back, you know. I can adapt from whatever to whatever and live my happy life. And so that's where I'm at with this project. I got I would say that was the most time-consuming part, cutting that off, cleaning it, and putting all new on. So like I said, I got one hose from there gonna go yet up to this. And see, that's what these all are, old, so they'll go away. I can just cut them off here in a second instead of carrying them around. And yeah, I mean, we're on our way, friends. We just got to rebuild the pump. I guess that's the next big to do, but that shouldn't be much. I mean, there really is nothing to these. So I will probably make that its own video, if I even film it, because I might get frustrated and not want to do that. But it's coming along. I just need to strip off the rest of the stuff that we don't need and take all that stuff to town with me, and then build back better, except actually do it. So I don't know if this is enough to make a video, but I think it's gonna be, because that's how I feel about it. So we're gonna leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.